Good afternoon and welcome to the Barwon Stroke Support Centre Cooking Club. Here we are in my kitchen at home. I am Sienna. I am the coordinator of the Barwon Stroke Support Centre and also an ex-pastry chef. Today we will be making a muesli tart with yogurt and fresh fruit. I've picked this recipe because it was all things that I found in my pantry and didn't need to go to the supermarket to get ingredients for. Today, before I do anything else, I will wash my hands. Now that hands are clean, I will put on my apron and get ready to begin. I have gotten out all of the ingredients and utensils that I will need to complete this. Normally when making this recipe I would use a large tart case with a removable base, but as it is only myself that I'm making this recipe for, I'll be using a small tart cases and have quartered the recipe. So for this you'll need the small tart cases, a baking tray, a mini mixer, blender, food processor, a chopping board, a paring knife to slice fruit. I am using a passion fruit in mine, so I'm using a teaspoon, measuring cups, measuring spoons, and a small microwave safe bowl to melt the butter. Step 1 is preheating the oven to 180 degrees, which I have already done before I washed my hands. Step 2 is greasing the tins. I'm using my olive oil spray and a pastry brush because I find it easier. You can use butter with a paper towel or grease or melted butter and grease them that way. Whatever you find easier. I have now put them onto my tray and we'll set them aside. The next thing we're going to do is measure out the cornflakes, rolled oats and nuts. I'm using a mixture of almonds and peanuts, mainly because they're my favourite nuts, and we're going to measure them into the food processor. So we need 3/4 of a cup of cornflakes, a 1/4 of a cup of rolled oats, and a 1/4 of a cup of mixed nuts. Now we're going to put them all into the food processor and zhuzh that up. We're going to turn that on and grind it until it is all combined. Now we're going to melt 1 tablespoon of butter to then add to the mix to help form the tart crust. We're going to do this by adding the butter to a microwave safe bowl and putting it into the microwave in 10-second bursts until the butter is melted. Once the butter has melted, we're going to add the butter and the crumb to a bowl, which I forgot to mention before, and then adds 2 tablespoons of maple syrup to it. Now we'll add the 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. And using a spatula, we will combine the mixture. Once well combined, the mixture should look a bit like this. It should look something like this. It should be sticky but still being able to move. It smells really good. That might be because I really like maple syrup. Now we're going to press the mixture into the tart shells. I'll be using my hands. You can use what you're able to or ask for help if you need. Spoon the mixture into the case. Press it into the bottom and up the sides. Once pressed in, it should look something like this. If not, that's okay too. The motto at the BSSC Cooking Club is that things should be rustic. Rustic meaning that as long as you are safe and hygienic, it doesn't matter what something looks like because you know it's been made with love. Now we're going to put them in the oven for 10 to 15 minutes. My oven runs a little slow, so we'll put a timer on for 10 minutes and then we'll check it and may need to go back in for a minute or two. While the tart shells are baking, we're going to prepare the fruit. You can use whatever fruit you have in your home or whatever fruit you desire. I'm really into berries, so I got myself some blackberries and some strawberries and a passion fruit and a banana. First of all, I'm gonna take a few strawberries and wash them before I slice them up. As my mother always says, you never know who's touched them in the supermarket. I'm going to take the tops off and slice them into quarters. You can cut them however you like. You can do this yourself or you can get some help with it if you need. Once these are all cut up, put them to the side, and we're going to wash the blackberries and leave them whole to arrange on top of the tart once ready. I just find these really quite difficult to open. Okay, we've got our few blackberries. Now I'm going to wash those. Now our 10-minute timer has just gone off, so we're going to check them. Make sure you use protective gloves to ensure you don't burn your hands. Okay, so these are still a little bit light and still quite soft, so I'm going to put them in for another couple of minutes. Now after putting the timer back on and putting them back in the oven, I'm going to slice the banana. You can use as much or as little. On the recipe I've said half a cup of fruit would be enough for 2 tarts. It just depends on how much fruit you have available and how much fruit you like. Now the easiest way I find to slice a banana is to cut the top off 3/4 of the way, and then you get it and you peel it down. Leaving the bottom skin on. Now you can either cut it fine or cut it chunky. I'm cutting it to about that size, which is roughly just over 1 centimetre. Some of the pieces are quite large, so I'm going to cut it in half. Now place them to the side with the other fruit. And discard the banana skin. Now with the passion fruit, I'm just going to slice it in half and place it to the side until the tart is ready. Now slicing the passion fruit in half, I'm going to hold it like this. Now make sure that your fingers aren't right next to the knife. Make an incision into it, like that. Obviously it is a little bit easier if you did want to use canned passion fruit, because then you can use a can opener and you don't have to work a knife. Also, another option with sliced fruit is using tinned fruit, or using Coles and Woolworths both have fruit in containers in the fresh fruit section that is already pre-cut for you. Our final timer has gone off, which means that the cases have been in there for a total of 15 minutes now. I'm going to check them one last time, and yeah, they are ready. So at this point we're going to turn the oven off and put them into the fridge to cool for 10 minutes. I would suggest taking them off the baking tray and put them onto a wire rack or a heat-proof mat in the fridge and away from other food. Now, while the tart shells are cooling in the fridge, this is a great time to start doing your dishes. Or if you're lucky enough to have someone else do your dishes, get them to do them. Now the tart shells have been in the fridge for roughly 10 minutes, so we're about ready to pull them out. But before we do that, let's talk about yogurt. Now, on the recipe I've put 125 grams of preferred yogurt. You can use, when I say preferred, you can use whatever yogurt you have available or whatever yogurt you like. It could be Greek yogurt, it could be flavoured yogurt, might be natural yogurt, could be fat-free yogurt, whatever you prefer. Today I'll be using coconut yogurt because I quite enjoy coconut yogurt, and it was also available in my fridge. Okay, so our tart case is now been in the fridge for about 15 minutes, and now to get it out, I'm using a knife. If you need help, then get help with it. Otherwise, yeah, you could use a knife, or if you were to use baking paper underneath it, then it would be easier too. We have now gotten the tart case out of the pan and placed it on our serving dish, in this case a side plate. I'm now going to add the coconut yogurt, So 125 grams, so in this case it's a quarter of the yogurt. In all honesty, you can put as little or as much as you like. It's all about taste, really. Now, if you were serving this for a dessert, you may want to do it through a piping bag, or to make it, you know, really fancy looking. If you're just making it for yourself, or you like that rustic look, you can just use a spoon. Now that we've added the yogurt, now I'm going to place the fruits that we prepared before. So we've got some of the banana. Now, I've washed my hands multiple times, so I'm just using my hands to place it. You can add it if you want to use a fork. If you're just making it for yourself, then you can use your hands, or if it's easiest to use your hands. Now again, this is just really rustic. I'm just placing it all over. If you want to be fancy, or you're serving it for a dessert, then you could put it into a certain design. So I've added a few bananas. Now we're going to add some strawberries. A couple of blackberries. And the passion fruit, which we're going to spoon on. You can never have too much fruit, so whatever doesn't fit on the tart, serve next to it and enjoy. Now I'm going to sit down to a late breakfast, and I hope this inspires you and gives you a new recipe to try in isolation. Thank you so much for watching, and please share pictures of your creations on our Facebook page, the Stroke Association of Victoria, to inspire others. And I look forward to seeing you at the centre in the near future. Thank you very much.